Showing you how to fill up a UK standard visitor visa form. So first you need to come to the website called gov.uk, right? Standard visitor visa. We're assuming that we are applying from India. You select India. Then you have this is a place where you would be asked about your biometric location. Now, what is biometrics? Biometrics is that there is a special third party center where they take your fingerprints and they take your photograph for facial recognition, which they store it on the database. You select, usually this is in the city where you live. Then you come at the bottom. Now you get e-visas as the part of process. Now we start filling up the form. So I will start with entering the email. Then I enter my. So it's pretty simple. We move forward. Now, does this email belong to you? You say yes. Do you have another email address? Say no. And then you need to enter your mobile number. So I'm assuming a fake number for the sake of it. This is for you. Where do you use this telephone number outside of the UK? This is a mobile number. Then, do you have any other telephone numbers? Just stick to one number, okay? Now, you can be contacted by telephone call and text message. Say next. Now, here is where you need to enter your name. So, I'm going to assume that we are applying for Arush Sharma. And in addition to the names already provided, now, or have you been known by other names? Now, why is this relevant? Imagine you're a wife of someone and you have changed your surname. So in that case you would select yes and give your old name and the new name. Okay, but in our case the answer is no. Select male. Status, if you're single you write single. And here we will write address that and say Mumbai. Postcode is 40013. This is also Mumbai. Whatever the address is, you can just fill it up. Click India. Is this address also your correspondence address? You say yes. So in case they want to send you some documents. For example, you need to now answer how long you've lived at this address. For example, you lived at this address for 3 years and 6 months. Here you select whether you own it or rent it. So I say I rent it. Click continue. Here you enter your number, passport number, which is like that. For example, it's issued by Republic of India. Then the start date. So the passport was issued in 2018 and it expires in 10 years, like that. Click next. Do you have a valid ID card? Just stick to one. Just say no. Country of nationality, it's India. Birth, it's also India. And place of birth, the city where you were born. Say you're born in Mumbai. And here you write your date of birth. It should match your passport or any other valid form of ID. Do you hold any other nationalities? We say no. Here it's really important. If you're a businessman, you will select self-employed. If you're somebody who's an employee, select this thing. If you're unemployed, you select the right status. Okay, we're going to select employed. And then we write we work for example, Google. And we work in to type the address. Then you write again, this is Maharashtra, Mumbai. And then we write the postcode 400013. Country again India. So we can copy the employer's phone number. So this is the phone number, for example. And since when did you start working for this employer? So whatever is written in your employment contract, say you started in June of 2019, you say that. Your job title, say for example you're a chartered accountant. What's your salary in INR? Say you earn, how much do you earn each month after tax? So say you earn 150,000 rupees. Describe your job to audit. Just keep it simple, audit and provide services for my employer. That's it. But try to be as specific as possible. Try to list out 3 to 4 points. Click next. Do you have any savings? This is really important to show that you can afford this trip, to the UK. Say yes. You select GBP. So imagine you had INR. So go to xc.com and then try to convert INR into pound sterling. So imagine you had 15 lakh rupees of saving. That would be 12,774 in real terms. Click next. How much money is available to you personally to bring? So for example, you can say I have got 5,50,000 rupees. So this should be a breakdown of your flights to the UK return, which would cost you around 85,000 if you're flying from Mumbai between 3rd of November and 8th, 11th of November. Then hotel could cost you 133,000, 134,000. Then at an average rate of say 200 to 250 pounds per day for eating and traveling. So you have a 10-day trip. So you're going to have 2 lakh rupees for that and 80,000 rupees for cricket matches. Because for me, the primary purpose to go to the UK is actually to visit cricket matches in London, Birmingham, and other places. Okay. So, what is the total amount you spend each month? So, this should be available from your bank statement. So, example, you rent a property, you pay mobile bill, electricity, and any other credit card bills that you pay. So, I spend, for example, 75,000 rupees. You write that. You should be able to verify that, not exact, but on an average. Then, will anybody be paying towards your cost of visit? For example, if you're unemployed, your father is paying, then you can say yes and give the details. If no, because you're employed, and date of arrival. This is really important when you want to fly to the UK and when do you want to fly back. So you select that. Now you select we may need to talk to you, so you select English. Now, this is really important. What is the main purpose of your visit? In the last, I mean, last week, I made a video in Hindi in which I told you what are the different types of visitor visas, what you can do, what you cannot do. These are some of the things that you can, main reason for visit. We're going to select tourism, and because we're going to watch matches, so it will also come under that. Don't select business including sports entertainment. This is usually for businessmen going to the UK for business or conferences, or you're a commentator. Okay, if you're transiting, say you're going to Canada and you have a break layover in London, so then you select transit. So you need to save and continue. Here you select you're not visiting family, you're a tourist only. And what is the main purpose? The main purpose is to watch cricket one day series between India and England at Lord's Oval and um, Leeds cricket ground between say 4th 11 to say 9/11 2025. I you can write. I also intend to see Westminster, or and if time permits, I would I would see Kent City. So try to be as specific as possible, because then they know that this is what you're trying to do. So for example, if you're saying you are going to watch cricket, then you will need to show what the dates of those matches are, because you're saying you're going between 4th and 11th, 4th and 9th to watch the matches, and then you're going to see some places in London, and so here it say you say in London, and if I would see Kent City also. Click next. Do you have anyone who's financially dependent on you? So it could be your children or it could be your parents. If not, just say no. Now you need to provide details of your mother and father. Say, for example, Reena, Shama. Now give her date of birth. Make sure you look at her passport or PAN card. So she was born in 1959. Nationality is Indian. She had the same nationality. Now select your father. Give Tony Shama as name. Whatever your parents' name is, I'm just assuming. Okay. So 1950. He's also Indian and he had the same nationality. Now, do you have any family in the UK? So if you have, you should disclose it. Family means blood relations. Don't assume I have a friend who's like a family, because that is not blood relations. The definition of immediate family is here. We select no. Will you be traveling as a part of UK as an organized group? Say no. Will you be traveling to the UK with someone who's not your father and spouse? So it could be a friend or something. If you're traveling, then you need to disclose the details, but otherwise, just keep it to yourself. Do you have an address where you're going to be staying in the UK? Now, here is if you're staying in a hotel, you answer no. And then you write, I'm going to be staying, for example, in Premier Inn Hotel, Stratford, Westfield, and E20. Whatever the postcode is, just type in the address. Go like this. Have you been to the UK in the past 10 years? If say yes, then you need to give the details, reference numbers. If you're not, I assuming you're going for the first time, you say no. Now, besides the UK, have you traveled to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, US, Switzerland? The answer is no. If you have traveled, then please give the details. I'm assuming no. Now, besides UK and USA, have you traveled to any other countries like Thailand or you know, Malaysia and all of that? If you say no, just move on. Now, this is really important for you to now pay attention. So, this is where they will ask you, have you ever been refused a visa or refused an entry to the border? So, if you had an old passport where you were refused, please do not lie. State, yes, I have been refused, upload the letter as documentation and why the reason was. Because if you don't disclose, they will find out anyways. So, try to remain as honest as possible and accurate because then you risk being deported. So, just say no because you've never been to the UK. Have you entered the country illegally? Answer no. Now, these are criminal convictions in your own country, in the UK or any other country. For example, what is including? Have you been disqualified for speeding or no motor insurance, arrest while are you awaiting a trial, a caution or out of court penalties, civil court judgment under the UK immigration law, or no, I have never had these any of these. Then have you been involved in war? Say no. Terrorist activities? Say mostly no. Then extremist views, be mindful of what you're saying on YouTube because they will do searches and if they find out that you're inciting violence or hate or something, then you could come under this. So try to remain as civil as possible. Then are you a person of good character? Have you been employed by non-UK government? Means you work for in whether paid or under non-paid capacity. Are you for good character? You have you ever been engaged in any activities which might indicate that you may not be considered be a good person of good character? Answer is no. Save and continue. Now, this is employment history. Have you worked for the government, intelligence services, armed forces, media, judiciary as a judge? Lawyer is different, okay? So, judiciary, I have not worked for this, for example, add any further details. So, you here, this is called disclosure, where you write, um, I've taken, for example, estimates from, say, booking.com for hotel stay, airindia.com for flights, um, and tickets from cricket, ICC website, for example, which I will upload. For example, upload. Um, uh, in order to book my travel arrangements, may I please request you to approve my application to enter the UK as a visitor. I have also attached a cover letter explaining, for example, explaining how I meet the requirements. Now, cover letter is something that you will have to attach as a document. Click next. Now, this is how the form looks. This is the stage that we are going through. So we go look, double check what we have filled, make sure your passport number, names, profession, salaries is exact, and you give it a good check, and you come at the bottom and you say continue. Now, this is where they require documents. So they require colored copies of your passport. For example, inside of the passport, each and every page, whether it's blank or stamped. Okay, so make sure whether when you have old passport and new passport, you upload each and every file separately in PDF. Okay, compress it to medium quality so that they can see, and make sure each page number in the passport, like 1 and 2, are visible, right? And take each and every page so that they see the photo, the address, your parents' name, and all of that, right? You take photo and then upload it. So once, then you have to show evidence of funds. Now, under the UK law, there is no set requirement as to this much funds you need to have, but generally a thumb rule is that you should account for at least 130 to 190 to 200 pounds, and some shopping if you want to do. So you should account for that, because you'll be traveling by underground, so you have to buy tickets, right? And then you should be able to show that, okay, if the trip is going to cost you 550,000 rupees, not only you have the salary, you have got savings which is in your fixed deposit. Make sure you don't have any sudden incoming and outgoing unexplained. For example, if you sold a property in 1 crore rupees is showing in your bank statement in the last 6 months or a month before, please write it down that the sudden income of 1 crore that is coming is not income that I have gained from my employment, but it is as a result of sale of a property that I have sold. Here is the property deed that attached, and here is the income tax that is paid. So that the visa officer does not have any doubt in the mind in terms of how did sudden funds come, right? They should be seeing on an average 75,000, for example, in our case, that you have incomings of your salary 150,000, whatever the amount we wrote, and then outgoing of 75,000. If you got multiple bank accounts, make sure you clearly label the file as, say, ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank, and you provide. So we are in October, so if you want to apply now, so provide September, August, July, June, May, last 6 months, 6 months of pay slips, your employment contract with a clear dated, signature of the HR, your name, and the gross salary. Then pay slip should show exactly the salary that you say you get each month. Then it goes into the bank account and it shows the credit of that, exact amount. If there is any deviation, explain that. For example, if you got a bonus in, say, final month, say my salary is more than required because I got a bonus, it is also shown on my payslip. So you need to eliminate any doubt in the visa officer's mind that you can afford um, the this visit. You can you're going for the purposes that you've said, and you will return in time. So that means, for example, if you have a return ticket, you will go and come back. Don't buy a one-way ticket. Okay, that is a big no. So you save and continue. Here the conditions, you can self read it. For example, you can, if you stay in the UK without permission, what can happen to you? Click on next. Then declaration that you're above the age of 18. You click on I accept the above. Then I consent that if you stay in the UK without permission, you can be detained, prosecuted, fined. You read all of that, and then you continue. Now here comes the visa length. That means this is really important, that how long do you want to get this visa for. The minimum is 6 months, as I told you in my last video. But if you're going for the very first time, do not apply for 2 years, because not only it's expensive, the chances are highly unlikely that you will get it. The reason why I say that is you don't have a travel history. Once you've gone to the UK for 3 to 4 times, apply for 5 years visa or 2 years visa, because if you apply for 5 years visa, it's a better ROI. You just then book the flights and go. But in any visit, you cannot stay for more than 6 months. Even if you got 5 years, the visitor visa is meant for going, visiting, and then coming back. Okay, so we're going to select 6 months. Now we will see the fees. So the fees of 127 pounds is converted into INR. So if you see it at the top, once we pay the visa fees, then we will be guided to a website called TLS Contact, which I will put in the link down below. There you have to upload all the documents. Okay, so let's go save and continue. So now you will continue to world pay. Basically, you will just enter your debit card details and make a payment. Once you do that, you will get an immediate visa application reference number. Once you get that, you will get an email that you've made the payment, and then you will get a link to go to TLS Contact. So the simple thing is, when you log into the TLS Contact, you will be asked to select a biometric date for appointment, right? But before you do that, you have to upload the documentation. For example, employment proof, if you rent, rental agreement, your passport copy, old and new if you have. Then what else? Your pay slips, your last 6 months of bank statements, and any other additional information. For example, income tax returns, right? But try not to include something. For example, if you're employed, don't include the bank balance of your parents if you're self-funding it. If you're unemployed, then please include the statement and a signed letter from your father or mother saying we are sponsoring his trip. He is unemployed, he's a student, but he's just going there to have a vacation for say 2 weeks, for example, and then we are going to be funding all his expenditure. If you know somebody in the UK, then you need their ID. You need to declare that I have a friend in the UK, this is his ID, and he has given me a sponsorship letter. I will be staying at his place. Be transparent, be honest, and you'll almost certain if the documentation is correct, you will get the visa. Okay. So if you go to continue world pay, which I'm not going to do, you will just go proceed with the further action that you will have to make a debit card payment. Once you made the payment, you go and on TLS contact and upload the documentation. Select regular appointments and not paid appointments because you don't want to pay for an appointment. You can see which date matters to you. If you're in a rush, then you can also do something called premium processing, for which the fees is quite high, but I don't think so this is relevant for this video. So I hope you like the video. The whole idea is wherever you're sitting in the world, through this educated video, you learn how to file the visa application yourself. You don't have to rely on agents. And being a lawyer, I can tell you, in England, that this is really doable. Just stay honest and you'll be okay. All right. Till next time, take care.